Hey, you fucks. Thanks for, checking out the videos, showing a little bit of support. How about you take it to the next level and show us some love over there on Patreon, huh? Huh? Huh?
Okay, I guess we're getting this stuff started. Hey everybody, welcome back to another Papa Tico rant. And as you can see, I'm putting my gloves on and I'm getting ready to go. Yeah, this is another one where you guys can guess where I'm recording this. But anyway, yeah, I hope you guys don't mind the little bit of weirdness here of me having to re-record this audio here at home. Audio for these rants that I filmed were just bad. Oh yeah, big shout out to my boy 12SV. I'm sorry, I'm screwing up your name here, but 12SV, he's one of the viewers, so he's one of the hot Tikyo Sam fam. I want to do a special shout out to him today. Let me get his name right. Yeah, 12SV. He's been a viewer of mine for a while, and he basically saw the rant last week, and he said, "So your mics are fucked." And I said, "Well, the mics at least four that are attached to the helmet are probably fucked." Yeah. And he's like, "I heard you said you were gonna get a new helmet and new thing and new Bluetooth wireless microphone." And I was like, "Yeah, but I'm just holding off." And he basically just donated to have that stuff for me to get that shit. So thank you so much, man. He directly donated to the PayPal. So thank you guys. Holy shit. So that means I still got to order it on Amazon. It's in my cart right now, but yeah, this is gonna be fun. Let me get around this guy. Yep. Okay, there we go. We're currently in a rest area, by the way, and we're still in Chiba at this point, and we're just trying to get out of here. As you can see, this is right directly after I got rained on hardcore. So yeah, that was fun. I had to put the microphones in my bag. Luckily, my bag was like a shoulder bag, so I could just put it right over my shoulder for the microphones. But unfortunately, yeah, I think they got water damage on them. So boo fucking who to me, right? But anyway, yeah, it's okay because we've got a whole hour here to sit down and talk, and I got my drinks here, and we're on the open road. Yeah, look at that fucking blue sky, man. I didn't even apply any of like the color boosting things to the edit yet, and just like, God, the GoPro makes everything look so colorful. I love it. But anyway, yeah, big shout out and thank you to 12SV. This rant is dedicated to you, buddy, for keeping the dream alive of liking these rants. And yeah, I'll try to make the audio for this at least a little bit lower, the original audio, so you guys can hear some stuff in the background, and that should be fine. Yeah, but thank you guys so much for the support always. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, also, I guess since I'm in the middle of shouting out my stuff, big shout out to everybody there who signed up on Patreon. Patreon.com/TikyoSam. Boom. Yeah, you guys go check that out. It is fucking awesome, you know? Hell yeah, dude. But anyway, yeah, guys, thank you so much. The Patreon's basically like you can go over there for bonus stuff to support the channel. Like you can see the behind-the-scenes footage, blogs. You can even learn Japanese. I've got Japanese lessons set up there. And yeah, anyway, I got tons of bonuses. Plus, you get your name at the end of these videos, so that's cool. But yeah, and also big shout out to all the YouTube members here. Thank you guys so much for the support. Anybody who became a member here or on any of the channels, you get access to the Discord and everything like that, and it's pretty badass. And hello everybody in the premiere right now on the right side of the screen. Thank you. Big shout out to everybody who comes here and checks out the premiere and also helps share these videos on social media. Yeah, if you guys retweet my shout out when I tweet this on Twitter, or if you make your own tweet, I will favorite it. And I don't know if that's any incentive to any of you guys, but I really will appreciate it when you guys do that. So thank you so much. And yeah, don't forget to smash like button and leave a comment. And the comment of the day here, or the question of the day, is: do you guys I don't know, what do you guys think about what's happening to the West right now? You know, like Europe, America, freaking Canada, Australia, all that stuff. Let me know what your thoughts are, because my analytics say that a lot of you guys actually live in the West, and then it's weird. My second demographic is after the U.S. and Japan, it's Canada, Australia, UK, Australia, and Austria, Germany, and Indonesia. And that's weird because I thought they only speak Indonesian or Javanese or something in Indonesia, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, if you guys see this right now, these walls that I'm going by on the road, these are actually canceling walls. They do that because these highways are right next to buildings and stuff, and so in order to cancel, I don't know if they actually work, but it's fucking cool. I think it's actually, to be fair, I remember I did live in a house for a little bit in 6th grade that was right next to a highway, and that shit was loud. That kept me up. I couldn't sleep at all. Don't mind me, I'm just getting a little refresher here, but yeah, anyway, big shout out to everybody who does that. It really helps the channel grow and stuff, and the analytics and blah 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 blah, etc etc. And yeah, also, yeah, big thank you to everybody who does a super chat or a super thanks or becomes a member. You know what I mean. Anyway, yeah, so question of the day done. And the self promo is done, and yeah, and don't forget, we do a live stream after each one of these videos, so there you go. Anyway, God, I just love this open air. Even the mirrors look nice. But anyway, yeah, in this video I'm going to Chiba to see my buddy who's a rice farmer in Chiba. He's one of the few Americans that is a rice farmer in Japan. It's pretty cool. But yeah, anyway, guys, so the topic of today is, how has my view of the West changed since coming to Japan? And it's funny because I think I'll probably be releasing this maybe before or after. I haven't decided yet. It might be before my would I date an OnlyFans girl video. I don't know. I gotta think about it. But either way, it was good news. We, it's just I got prompted to make this video today because I have a bunch of old rants that had shitty audio to them, or the microphone audio just didn't work, or I forgot to turn on the audio, and we've got maybe like 6 or 7 of those left over. And I know some of you guys don't like this because I'm talking over the video, and you guys like seeing me react in real time, but a talk is a talk, guys, so, just fucking deal. Fucking deal. Until I get that new stuff set up with the new helmet, this is what we're going to be dealing with right now at the moment. But, yeah, as you can see, I'm going off, I don't know if this is an exit or if it's just a transfer to another highway. I think it's just a transfer to another highway. Luckily, in Japan, the highways are they're awesome. I mean, this is technically a toll highway or whatever, so it's not... the difference is that highways have street lights on them and stop signs and stuff, and this one doesn't. So you can just keep going forever as long as there's not a traffic accident that's slowing down traffic. But anyway, God, I love how, look at this. This is like midday on a Saturday or Sunday that I was filming this, and there's barely that many cars there. Like, once you get to the actual kind of countryside area, or the less populated area. I mean, this is still in between Tokyo and Chiba. It's pretty good. But, yeah, anyway, yeah, I don't know. You guys have been offering to give me some rant suggestions, some topics. And, yeah, if you have any, write them down in the comments section. I might do a rant topic on it, next week maybe. So, but one of you guys asked me, it's how have your views changed since coming to Japan? So I thought I'd just give a long 1-hour spiel about just my thoughts about this stuff in general, and it's also a great way for me to warm up in the morning. It's almost 11 a.m. here. I woke up at 7. Big shout out to Deep in my Discord, DeepXC or DeepCX. She recommended I take CBD gummies before going to bed, and because I'm a very light sleeper. And you can buy those on Amazon now, and they're a little bit pricey though. But it's cool that CBD is now a thing in Japan. And I always thought it was kind of hubbub stuff, But because I tried 1 or 2, and I'm I'm not really feeling anything. But the other day I had the smart idea of just trying 2 before going to bed, And I forget, it doesn't just give you kind of like a slight head high, but it gives you a body high too. And like, fuck, I feel so relaxed, and I can just pass out a lot better. I'm not even checking my phone or doom scrolling anymore. And so big shout out to Deep for that suggestion. Thank you so much. But yeah, anyway, I don't know, just spieling. I had some good news today about a certain somebody getting put into the police custody today, so I'm in a kind of good mood about this. Normally, I don't know, I wouldn't be happy if somebody got violence against them or they got arrested, but this guy, I'm not even going to mention his name because I don't want to give him any clout, but this guy, it's such good beach justice, you know, Brian Kimball kind of stuff, you know, Gumble to Gumble. Oh, it's so good. But, yeah, I don't know. I just, one of the questions you guys asked me again was like, how have your views changed? And so, before I came to Japan, I would have considered myself quite, I mean, like, I wasn't ever into politics to begin with, you know? I was like Fry from Futurama. It's like, but everyone was voting that day, but voting is lame, so I just stayed home and got trashed on Listerine, you know? Yeah, I don't drink Listerine, but I would, you know, and instead of getting trashed on alcohol, I probably just stayed home and, you know, probably just played video games. But you know what I mean. I mean, my whole thing is just like politics is lame. People that are in charge, they already made up their minds about how this shit's going to go, and they kind of roll with the punches, but overall they just want to control the masses, blah, 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 etc. So why do I care, you know? But, you know, before I came to Japan, like, I thought, you know, I was like, I consider myself, I guess you could say, like more of a center guy than anything, because I like certain things from both sides, you know. Like, I don't think the thing is like everybody kind of goes to extremes now these days, right? Where it's like you have to be extremely left or you have to be extremely right kind of thing, and you know, for me, it's just like there's certain things that I like, but I thought in America, like, you know, you got to remember, like, young people in America, they don't have, it's not that they're stupid, it's just they lack life experience to a certain extent, so they don't know. I mean, like, that's the worst thing about anything, right? It's like, you know, like, I heard that it's so funny because, like, America is literally the melting pot of the world where anybody could move there and they'd be considered American. Like, I have a Japanese friend named Masa, and she's a backup dancer for Justin Bieber and all these other people, all these other pop stars. And she's Japanese, but she speaks fluent fucking English. Like, she didn't grow up in America, but she's been there for so long now. She speaks fluent English. So when they meet, or when people meet her, they just think that she's American, like that she grew up in America. And that's the thing about Japan is, like, I think Japan's slowly changing, but it doesn't matter how good you speak fluent Japanese, you're always going to be kind of considered a foreigner here. They're always like, you're going to get more responses of like, oh, so when are you going home? Versus like, oh, so how do you, you know, are you going to become fully Japanese or something? Like, you know, it's more like that's kind of the normie responses you get more than anything, right? And so, yeah, but I mean, so like that being said though, like I heard like only like 20% or less of Americans actually have passports. And I don't know, the thing is, it's just like America, like I feel like before I came to Japan, I was like, hey man, you know, legalize weed, and you know, we need strict, like very strict, almost like, you know, whatever, gun laws and all this shit and blah 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 blah. And despite not being like super political, I just I always loved reading The Onion. And I remember whenever a school shooting would happen, like The Onion always publishes their same article afterwards saying like the only country where this happens on a regular basis says there's nothing that we could do about this to prevent it, you know? And I don't know, I mean, like the thing is like I had a comment the other day or like the other week saying that like they were like this person was like angry at me because in the last vlog that I released, the Aomori vlog, I put like kind of like smooth piano kind of Ghibli style countryside music like, you know, to my video, and they're like, man, you're like middle-aged and sad now, man. I was like, what? I was just trying to go with the vibe of the fucking of the live stream, dude. What are you talking about? Or not the live stream, but of the of the actual video recording. Like it's just like it's in the countryside, a Japanese countryside. When I think Japanese countryside for music, I automatically think like like Ghibli piano, or like the Happy Christmas or Merry Christmas Mr. Lawrence, or something like the Ryuichi Sakamoto, dun 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 dun. Like it's very peaceful, calming kind of piano melody. But anyway, yeah, I just what is it? But anyway, I don't feel like I'm like that, I feel like there's a difference between being jaded and then just kind of being, I don't know if the word is complacent, but you know what I mean, right, guys? It's just like you see the bigger picture, and it's like you find what mountain to die on kind of thing when it comes to fighting. And goddamn, look at that sky, and look at that tower that right next to that. Oh, this is the thing about Chiba that I didn't like, though. There's no mountains, Like, all you see is just flat land for, like, the whole fucking trip, which is, whatever, but it's just nicer when you have some scenery in the very background to look at, But, God, I love that. But, yeah, I don't know. It's just, like, the moment I moved to Japan, I start seeing... Like, the thing is that when you move to another country that does things better overall than your country, you're going to change your political beliefs, or you're going to change the ways you're thinking about stuff, right? And like when I was in America, I was like, yeah, well, like our medical system is shit, and even if you have health insurance, you're still kind of fucked. And it's very hard. It's a country where we're in debt, but it's so hard to get a house loan that's like not a variable. What do you call it? A variable loan or whatever, right? Where it's like I have friends that do real estate too, and they're like, you always want the variable interest loan. You don't want a constant loan. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like the value of everything keeps going, what is it? It keeps going up, dollar and money wise, right? So it's like, why would you not want a constant loan if you could get a constant interest loan versus like one that changes depending on the economy? Like, everybody's salary is either staying the same or going up, but everything else is increasing in price too, right? So it's like, I don't know. I don't see the, like, this isn't like investing in gas or something. Like, God, I saw a picture posted on Twitter today where it's like gas is like $7 to $8 a gallon now. Like, when I left America, I think it was like $4.75 or something. So it's like doubled in the price since then. But I don't know, man. It's like you move to Japan and everything is good, Like, for the most part, it's really good. Now, take in mind, this is my perspective as a foreigner, Because, again, like, I feel like Americans wouldn't be so ignorant or, like, be so fucking chauvinistic or whatever word you want to use if Americans just went out and traveled more, Like, I think it's like Mark Twain's famous quote. I'm going to forget the verbatim version of this, but it's like, travel is horrible. It makes the ignorant man smart, and it like, it makes the closed off man open-minded or something. And it's like, yeah, man, like, travel changes a person, and especially when you see a system that's better, it's good. Like, I was really hyped up when the Olympics were happening because I was like, because I was like, well, one, if regular people show up. And look at that shadow. That's a badass shadow right there, popping riding the bike. I was like, even if regular people show up, like they're gonna, like, this is the one chance where Japan can really advertise how their society is better. Like there's less crime, there's better food available, there's so much convenience everywhere. It's so safe. You're not getting assaulted. Like you can, like, I live in the red light district of Tokyo, like the biggest red light district in all of Japan, and I can afford it, And I'm just like a tiny interpreter, translator, English teacher, YouTuber guy, But I can still afford to live here. I mean, take in mind, my apartment's small as shit, but after living in Japan for as long as I have now, like, you don't really see that as an issue, Like, I grew up poor, right? So I was never like, oh, man, I need more space. I was always like, be happy with what you got. As long as I got a bed, bathroom, kitchen, and high-speed internet, I'm okay, right? You know, that's how my mindset was always like that. But, you know, it's just coming to Japan, and then, like, at least if the people didn't get to show up here, but the journalists and stuff did when they were covering the Olympics. And I remember, like, a tweet or, like, an article went viral of this one reporter or whatever, and he's like, look at the convenience stores, they're so convenient, they have egg sandwiches and they taste amazing. And I'm like, well, yeah, you know. But it's like it's, I don't know, it's funny because, like, I've only visited America 3 times since I'm almost been in Japan now for like 20 fucking years now, like almost 2 decades of not living in my own country. And so the only information I have to go off of when it comes to America is, like, information from my friends online, information from stuff posted online, and, like, movies and live streams, you know? Like, even right now while I'm talking to you guys, I'm watching this guy called Kuma Monster in New York City right now. And, God, it's so different, but it's so the same as well, you know? And, I don't know, I like it. Like, you know, like, I noticed, like, Times Square and stuff, it's a lot more kind of, like, cyberpunky. There's a lot more places using like blue and pink neon lights and stuff, and you know, it looks nice, but there's still crime and stuff. And again, like, it's always weird about, like, I never want to give like 100% solidified opinion on this kind of stuff, because it's like, you know, I don't live there, right? I think, like, one of the big things is, like, you shouldn't give strong opinions about a place you don't live in, you know, unless you know, like, a good variety of people who live there, and you can get their personal experiences from them. And it's like, everybody I know who lives in America right now, they're just fucking, it sucks, you know? Like, you guys, like, what is it, like, they're making housing prices, like, it's so, like, I never understood why people were complaining about housing prices until like last year or something. I was just that ignorant. I didn't get it, you know? But I get it now. It's like, well, one of the ways for you to rise up, you know, from being just a regular kind of person, is buying assets. And one of the, like, most common assets to buy is land, a house, an apartment, or whatever, right? And when the government makes it so hard for you to buy a place, then you know, that's like a hard way to, you know, because it's like, no one can steal an apartment, you know? People could steal a car, they could steal a coin collection, you know? But well, I guess you could do the stock market too, but that's a lot more complicated, right? So it's like, when the I don't know, like, looking from the outside in, all I see is just, like, the governments or the elites or whoever you want to call it. It's like, before, when I was in America, it was all kind of like still a class war, right? Like, it's poor versus rich, and it wasn't just like, oh, you know, like, oh, we're communist and we need to have you know, like, we need to have stock in this company because we work here at the factory. It's not like that. It's more like, these rich people are getting away with doing fucked up shit, like Dasani, the water company, is stealing water from reservoirs or something, or was that Nestle? I can't remember. But it's like, you know, or other companies are dumping their waste products illegally into the ocean or rivers, and people are suffering. Like, that was kind of the corruption that people were going after. And but, like, something shifted, I think, in the late like early 2000s, right? So it's like, you know, before 2010, or in between 2010 and like 2020, like, people were smarting up, you know? They were, like, investing in stocks, they had the crypto going, and so all these new rich people popped up out of nowhere, right? And it was kind of changing the, what do you call it, the paradigm, like, you know, the social quo or whatever, you know? Like, it's like, you know, all these rich people that were generational wealth that just, you know, because, like, that's a lot of things that people don't realize, is that, like, a lot of rich people these days are just people that inherited money from their families, you know, like the Jenners or whatever, the Kardashians, the, like, you know, Elon Musk's parents, you know, fucking Bill Gates' parents, you know, It's like all these rich people that are in charge now just came from rich people families that, you know, they get to send their kids to the best schools. You know, even Bill Gates was like, when you know, even when Bill Gates was younger and he wanted to get into computers, like he was living, like if you guys actually read Bill Gates' biography, he talks, I think it was his biography or an autobiography, I can't remember which one, but it talked about when he was younger, he was in a lucky, like affluent neighborhood where there was a school or a university nearby that actually had a computer. And it was like one of the first early computers, and he got access to it. And like his parents saw that he was into that, and so they, like, you know, they kind of encouraged him, and like, you know, they supported him financially while he was going after his dream. And that's like a lot of things you see. And look at that blue sky again, just damn. And I'm going through the toll booth right now, and I gotta give the money to the person. This is fun. Yeah, I gotta get an ETC card reader soon. But yeah, it's just a lot of people, you know, it's so funny, like when you see, oh yeah, this is the cool one. You just put the ticket in there. You don't even need to talk to anybody. You put the ticket in, and then you just put the coins in the machine. Cool thing about these toll roads, sorry for a little tangent, guys, but these toll booth places, you don't see any people around there. And the reason why is that their offices are underground, these things. They're like underneath this place. There's like a little opening hatch where they walk down, and that's their office. So if you have an issue, they come up from there. It's really fucking cool. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's just badass. Look at me just putting in the cash, having to pay for my little motorcycle thing. It's so cool because I didn't even push a button saying that this is for a motorcycle. The thing automatically just knew. I think they have like a weight detector or something, but it just knew that I was in a motorcycle. So when I pushed out that thing and then just put it in there, it's like, yep, there you go. So, but yeah, I mean, like, again, with the generational wealth thing, it's like, I saw this video where this guy goes around and he's like, hey, can you show me your apartment? And then these dudes are like, okay. And he interviews this Japanese guy who's like, yeah, I'm a rapper and stuff. And his apartment's in, like, Shibuya. And, like, the guy's like, oh, so what, you know, like, how much is your rent? And the guy's like, oh, it's $1,400 a month. And the guy's like, what do you do? And he's like, I'm a rapper. And then you see him rap, and it's in, like, a small venue with barely any fucking people there. And it's like, yeah, that guy, he's a rich kid, you know? I'm not saying there's anything, like, I don't think you should ever hate somebody for being rich. That's just, like, a big pussy beta mentality thing. Like, you know, people are people. But the thing is that rich people are afraid of getting hated on, so they'll just be like, yeah, you know, I'm, you know, like, I'm so good at rapping that, like, I can afford this ridiculously expensive apartment in this cool area of town. Yeah, you know, it's, yeah, you know, it's cool, you know, I'm just doing, and it's like, that guy's parents totally support him doing that, and that's fine, right, you know, that is wherever you go, but it's like, you know, you're not being, like, you know, the guy's just, I don't know, you could call it being humble or whatever, but it's like, same thing in America, man. I mean, like, all these companies that get started up, they're usually from people that, I mean, sometimes they're from people with, like, lesser means, but for the most part, it's like, I don't know, man, all this stuff that's happened in America since I left, you know, like the whole Black Lives Matter fucking, you know, the peaceful riots kind of shit, and, I don't know, it's just, the thing is like, America and politics have always been about hypocrisy, right? They've always been about hypocrisy and, like, you know, somebody getting paid off by somebody else. I mean, you know, it's like, we have school shootings in America because there's a lot of people that have mental health issues. And the reason why we have a lot of people that have mental health issues is because of the media that people consume every day, and also their lifestyle, you know? Like, most of these people that do, you know, that do those school shootings, like, the funny thing is like, I had a friend who used to make a joke being like, yeah, I grew up in the ghetto, no school shootings there. You know why? Because they got cops and they got metal detectors, and, like, you know, you'd probably get shot by other students if you tried to shoot anybody at school. And yeah, like, there's a reason why, like, these school shooters always shoot up at, like, a place that's either middle class or, like, affluent, you know, kind of places. And it's just because, like, it's, you know, the option's there, right? Like, it's easy for their parents to get a gun, and it's easy for them to fucking, You know, like, what is it? And they're just, it's easy to be isolated and not socialized. Like, I remember I was watching this video essay called The Disappearance of the Third Place in America. And I was like, what is the third place? And I'm just checking my GPS here because I can't see shit because it's sunny. God damn it, can't see it. Fucking sun. But the third place is basically like, okay, humans or like, you know, people these days, they have two things, right? They've got, you know, they've got two places. They've got home and they've got work. Before, we used to, like, you know, in America or whatever, we had like town squares or malls or places where it's like, okay, after work, let's go hang out, guys, and let's socialize and let's get like a little bit of a community thing going on. But the bigger and bigger that like America and like, you know, neighborhoods expand, the like those third places are gone, you know? Like, I remember growing up, we used to have potlucks and shit all the time. And like community barbecues and shit. Like, I even I grew up in public housing, right? So it's like they always had a shared place where we would at least have like a barbecue or a potluck once a month, and it was fun. People would just bring food, and then the kids would play while the adults talk shit about whatever, you know. And I feel like those places, like I felt like so lonely even when I was in Japan, right? With that, like, you know, they don't really have places like that in the countryside. You know, for people to hang out in, right? But it's like in America, you have these people worried about, you know, oh shit, if I get hurt and I go to the hospital, I'm going to be in debt for the rest of my life. It's like, I can't send my kids to school, like, not even college or even private school, or like a decent place where like they're not going to get molested or shot, or like have teachers that actually that want to teach them unless I pay money. And the salaries are so low, or the rent is so high wherever you go, that it's really hard. Like, I saw this guy, like this short or whatever, and this dude's like, I think one of you guys posted it to Discord, where this guy was like, I live in California and I own nothing. I live in like a capsule hotel thing, and like you know, he was like some IT guy or whatever, right? And he and like, you know, he's talking about basically how he owns nothing and that he's able to save a little bit of money each month because he lives like a minimalist lifestyle where he doesn't have like any like big contracts that he signed up for. But I don't know if that's the way that you want to live, you know? Like, I think there's a big difference between living like that in shitty like southern, like, you know, mid to Southern California, and just living like a van lifestyle, you know? And that's another thing too. Like, you see all these dudes who live the van lifestyle, or they try to live frugally. And I saw another video essay on this too on YouTube, and it's like a lot of those people that do those kind of videos, they're all rich kids, you know? They're all people that are like, yeah, I'm going to be poor. I'm going to LARP being poor. I'm LARPing being poor, Dad. You know, in case this doesn't work out, though, you're going to pay for my rent, right? Okay, thanks, Dad. You know, again, nothing wrong with being rich, but it's just like, you know, when you have the resources to do something better, and then you're just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna be poor, you know, I'm gonna LARP being poor. It's just whatever, you know, whatever, right? But you got to realize is that like when it comes to the arts and stuff, like, you know, either artwork or what is it, like artwork or like music or starting a company or something, a lot more people that have resources at home can do that. You know, like that market is filled with people like that versus the other people that are starting from scratch. And that's not to dissuade any of you. I think that when there's a will, there's a way. And, you know, as long as you keep a positive mindset and you surround yourself with good information and good people, I think that the sky's the limit. But, yeah, it's hard when those people have a heads up and you're still like 50 yards behind the starting line, you know? But it doesn't mean you can't do it. But it's just like the West, man. It's like whenever I see the West now, like I'm gonna make a separate video on this about, you know, the mass illegal immigration that's happening to Europe and America right now. Like all the this week or last week, to give a timestamp to this when I'm making this rant, there was like 10,000 African dudes who showed up to this island in Italy. And like and I thought Italy was supposed to be like pretty hardcore and right wing and stuff right now, but they're not doing it, you know. They're not hardcore about it, or I don't know. They're still in the process of dealing with it. And meanwhile, in America, a bunch of small towns in Texas are being flooded by illegal immigration, and it's like I I don't know, man. I mean, like, the thing is that, like, I don't consider myself strongly left or strongly right because, you know, it's just a bunch of false promises, right? But I mean, like, you could say whatever you want about Donald Trump, but, like, did he really do worse than what Biden has been doing recently, you know? I mean, like, really, like, it's all, I mean, the thing about the internet is that, like, you can't get people to stop talking about politics and shit now. So it's like, if there's a big hypocrisy or something, people will make a big stink about it, but then it just goes away and people are on to the next scandal after that. But it's like, how is Nancy Pelosi still in office, you know? I don't even know anything about her except that she's worth a shit ton of money and she's just a politician, you know? And it's like, well, it's not her fault that if she took her salary and she invested in the stock market, if she made a profit from that, that's from her money that she earned originally. So it's like, yeah, but she was using her political status in order to manipulate and get extra, you know, get bonus information on the stock market so she can make those good investments, you know? And it's like, yeah, well, man, I mean, you know, that's why, I don't know. Again, like, when you get into politics, it's a very slippery slope, right? Because it's like you're starting an argument about something that you don't know much about, right? Like, all of this stuff is going off of feelies, right? It's not going off of any actual, like long, deep, solid research, right? This is just, like, my interpretation of what I'm seeing from the outside, right? But when you allow, like, I have a friend named Toshi, right? And he is, he's a gay Japanese guy that I used to know. Well, I mean, I guess he's bi or whatever, but the point is that he went to America and he studied acting or drama or something, and he got a job in America, and then, you know, the company went under, and he had, like, in America, they have, like, a 3-week to, like, 1 month, like, thing or whatever, where if you, because in America, your job is tied, or your visa is tied to your job, so if you lose your job, you only have a small window open before you can actually, you know, you have a small window open before you can get your visa renewed, or else you just gotta leave, kind of thing. And yeah, like, Toshi, my buddy, like, you know, he had a boyfriend there, and well, they couldn't get married. They couldn't get married because his boyfriend was cheating on his wife with him, but so he couldn't get the gay marriage visa or whatever. But you know, like, Toshi, like, he spoke fluent English, and you know, like, what is it? He spoke fluent English, and what else? He spoke fluent English. He had lived in in America for a while, and, you know, like, the guy is just an overall solid dude. But he couldn't stay in America. He couldn't get a work visa, so they kicked him out. You know, well, they didn't kick him out. It's just he had to leave. And meanwhile, in America, they're just letting tens of thousands of fucking people that all they did was cross a border, and now they're able to get into America. And it's just like, that's so unfair, right? Like, all my friends like Toshi are trying to do things on the up and up and, like, actually learn English and contribute. They're getting told to fuck off. Meanwhile, like, America's just letting in tons and tons of people that they can't deal with. And you know what happens when you have a bunch of people that can't deal with? You get another Sweden, right? Like, I remember when Sweden was like, yeah, just let all those people from over there come over here. And then it's like 10 years later, Sweden's rape crime has gone up 1,200%. You know, like, murders have gone up more. It's just, and, like, as soon as you do anything about it, it feels like the government's just like, hey, you stop it, you know? You're being a racist. And, you know, that's the thing about, like, America, or not even just America, but the West in general, Canada, fucking Europe, like, Australia, like, all these countries, it feels like they're just dealing with what South Africa dealt with after apartheid, right? Where it's just like, fuck white people, fuck the establishment, it's our place now. And, you know, it's, I remember growing up, racism was not a thing, you know? Like, it was one of those things where it's like, okay, there's racism, but those guys are idiots. And there's a lot, like, you know, like, what is it? It's like you judge somebody by the content of their character, right? To quote Dr. King, you judge somebody by their character, not by, you know, their skin color. And I remember, dude, growing up as a poor black child myself, you know, like, I grew up being around nothing but brown people. Like, I was surrounded by Mexicans and black people my whole life, pretty much. And, you know, that being the only white-looking family in public housing, you learn pretty quickly that white people are not the only people that can be racist too, man. But at the same time, you know, it's like when you realize you guys are kind of in it together, you can find a lot of common ground. Like, I remember when I was in 6th grade, you know, I got sent to foster care, and I was already enrolled in another school across town, which was kind of the more affluent one in the area. It was like a newer school, right? And I remember none of the white people there were nice to me. They all they didn't like me, and the only people that were friends with me were the Mexican dudes. And like half of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but half of them, their parents were like illegal immigrants here, and but they were the nicest fucking people ever, and all they wanted was just a better life for themselves. And I feel like for the older generation, the people that just want to get, like, the people you got to remember that are trying to do the illegal immigration, they just want a better life for themselves, you know? But it's like, I genuinely think that. I think that people aren't trying to make crime. They're not trying to, like, Scarface up the fucking place, but, you know, they want their piece of the pie. They want to have their chance, their shot at it, right? But then you have this whole other percentage of that group that are just like, yeah, fuck this. You know, I'm going. This whole town is a pussy, just waiting to get fucked, man. You know, it's you got those guys too. And I remember even, I remember in high school, one of the guys that I lived in the public housing with me, he fucking killed some guy, and I remember I'd known that kid for years before he had done that, and that guy was a piece of shit. You know, and the parents didn't fucking, like, the parents were good people, but they didn't parent their kids, you know, so the kids would be out till like 2 a.m. kind of thing, and you couldn't complain to anybody. It's public housing. The cops aren't going to show up, you know, they don't care. They're busy with actual shit like murders and stuff, you know? I'm drinking my premium Boss coffee, hell yeah. But it's just like, you know, when it comes to America, like, my views are like, this is simple, right? Like, I think abortion should be allowed. It should be allowed, you know? It's that simple. I think that a woman shouldn't have a bunch of fucking abortions. I think you should, you know, practice safe sex, meaning like just use condoms and shit. Like, because then if you're abusing the services too much, then, well, one, you're wrecking your body, and two, you're just, you know, taking advantage of public welfare stuff. And, so that's my view on abortion. You know, I think it should always be legal everywhere. As for guns, I think people should still be allowed to have guns, but I think that if they copied Japan, which they won't because the gun lobbies own America. So that's the same reason why we don't have a big giant Shinkansen network in America. It's not because it costs money. America has money. They could make it if they wanted to, but the car companies and the car lobbyists make it so that's never a thing, you know? They don't want... I mean, like, I see so many people and they're like, oh, we want to get electric cars now, and I'm like, dude, I could fill up my car in 10 minutes with gas and then I could go. If you drove an electric car all day, how long would it take to charge the battery? Oh, you know, at least a couple hours. Okay. And that the car, it needs to be connected to the internet? Yeah, some of them do. Can they shut off your car, like, manually if you're driving? Well, yeah, I guess they could. I'm like, why would you ever give any company or government power over you like that, you know? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me, you know? It's like, you know, all you got to... I'm taking a break here to stop really quick. I'm just looking at my GPS probably right now. But, you know, it's like all you got to do is look at countries that are scarier than your country to figure out, you know, like what you don't want, you know, like in Russia, they lock up fucking billionaires. Like if you make a lot of money and you start even making a little bit of a noise or ripple, they'll throw you out a fucking window, you know. They'll if you want to run to another country, they'll fucking poison you, you know, like they'll go wait till you sit on a fucking park bench and then just spray poison in your face. Same thing with North Korea, man. Like North Korea, you can't go to any other fucking city. You know, you're not allowed to have you know, they have public transportation, but you can't have a car unless you're an elite, you know. China too. China is like, you know, you have to have an ID to check into any hotel. And like, you know, and you have to, if you have a bad social credit score, you can't even buy a fucking train car or like a train ticket or whatever. You know, they've got like fucking, what do you call it? Like face recognition cameras everywhere. And like the UK is kind of going towards that too, you know? It's like no free speech, no nothing, right? And, I don't know, it's scary. It's scary because like you would think that the West, because we were, you know, like we're the countries that have freedom, you know, like it's so ironic. I mean, the thing that kind of scares me is that like, you know, like especially like I have no problems against Islam or other religions, you know, like I don't give a shit as long as you don't bother other people, you know, but like it scares me about like what is it? It's like religions don't scare me. It's when religions take over a country and government which scares me, you know, and it's like, you know, say whatever you want about Islam or whatever, but like I don't know any other religions that want, like in the countries where they're run by Islam, I don't know any other countries or religions where like, you know, women are oppressed, you know, and gays get killed, you know? Like I like women and I like gay people, and I don't think they should be oppressed or killed just because of who they are, right? And when I see London, like I have friends that live in the UK, and they're like, yeah, it's not all the UK, but yeah, there's certain parts where it's all covered with like, you know, these people want to have Sharia law, and of course then you get grooming fucking you know, groups of people that, you know, try to kidnap young people and then put them in there. It's not good, you know, it's not fucking good. And anyway, I don't, you know. It's scary because it's like, you know, America was started because we wanted freedom, you know? We didn't want to be ruled over by an elite class that's telling us like, fuck you enjoy that flea-ridden bread and you fucking don't complain, you know? And it's like, it just seems like every civilization that's come up until now, there's been a fall, right? There's always been a fall of Rome or whatever, right? And, you know, when people are like, there were ancient civilizations that were more advanced, you know, like the History Channel guy with the aliens meme, I don't think that's true. Because if that's true, then we would have already found satellites from those previous generations. Because every civilization would get to a point where they had the technology where they could send stuff into space. And since we didn't see anything in space up until now, I really doubt there were other super, super fucking advanced civilizations up until now. I think there are probably like good organized ones, but you got to remember there's always something that it's either something natural that happens like a plague that fucking fucks people over, or it's something like, you know, like man-made, you know, like something that fucks people up. I don't know. You know what I mean? Just fucking A. But yeah, so, I don't know. Just thinking about this stuff. It's scary because it's like when I grew up, I remember I broke my collarbone. I broke both of my collarbones in the same day because I'm stupid. And I think it was just a hairline fracture, but I remember we couldn't go to the hospital. I was basically sitting in my, like, you know, I was laying down in my house for like 2 or 3 months, you know, just ice packs over my fucking bones just because we couldn't go to the hospital. We couldn't afford it, you know. And I love the fact that in Japan, I don't have to worry about that. If I've gone to the hospital multiple times. Right now I take ADHD meds that weren't available here for the longest time. I can take those now. I'm taking Ozempic right now, and that's not covered by insurance, but it's still cheaper than what they sell it for in America. And, I love the fact that it's like the cops, despite whatever people want to say about the justice system here, like, they don't take shit, man. You know, it's like you come here, like, what is it? If you come here and start trouble, I guess not. I'll take that back. If you're married and you have kids, I think they give you a little bit more leniency. Like, when you're married to a Japanese person, you're legally tied to them. I think it's a little different. Like, I still remember that American guy in Kanagawa, like, 3 or 4 years ago, who killed his girlfriend with sleeping pills and threw her in the ocean, and she drowned. And he just got like 3 years house probation or something. And I'm like, he killed somebody. But because he had a house here, because he had a family, I think they gave him some leniency, you know? And so, but when you're just coming here and you're married to other foreigners, or you're just a single person, like, Japan doesn't take crap, man. You know, Like, you know, you start shit here, they'll fucking throw you in jail, you know? Like, it's, and luckily the only countries that surround this are too far away to ride a boat into Japan, you know? And, like, Japan's Coast Guard is so good, they'll pick up on that, you know? Like, I remember a couple, maybe it was this year or last year, like, a guy said he swam from Russia to Hokkaido, and I'm guessing he just got on a boat and then like got to a point where he could swim over here. But yeah, they deported his ass. I don't think he's here anymore. And yeah, I mean, like, there's certain things about Japan that I don't like or I don't agree with. But I mean, compared to America, this place is great. You know, like, I remember going to America and I was like, there's no places where you could rent a motorcycle, because no places with insurance would cover, like, if a motorcycle got stolen from a rental place. So places just didn't do that. But in Japan, there's tons. You go to any city, there's a place where you can rent a motorcycle, you know? You can go to any hospital and be covered, you know? You can eat raw eggs because the quality of food here is so high. And the standard of living is so high, you know? I'm just trying to think, like, look at these cars. I mean, these cars are made out of aluminum foil, and they'll break with just a simple kick. I'm taking another break here to probably check the GPS. But at least the cars are affordable. I mean, like, hell, you could buy a used car for $1,000 here if you need to. Like, that's the thing. I heard in America now, too. It's like all you can do is buy, like, semi-new cars that are just, like, they're trying to get rid of. I understand, like, for pollution, like, emissions-wise, why you'd want to get rid of old cars or whatever, but it's like, I don't know. I see, like, it's like, well, man, you get an electric car that's going to help the environment. I'm like, well, aren't you just burning fuel and coal and whatever to make that electricity? Like, I remember I saw this video where this guy needed to charge his car, and so he had a generator on the, like, attached to like a trolley or something on the back of his car, so he could charge the car with gasoline from the generator that was generating electricity for the car. It's like fuel, but with more steps, right? You know, I mean, come on. Yeah, I'm still checking here, looking for the gay porn, where to go. Yeah, you know, trying to find my buddy's place, couldn't find it. This GPS was so broken. I ended up going to the wrong fucking place too. By the end of this, I got stuck and I didn't know where I was going, but. Yeah, that's a word to the wise, guys. Don't ever use GPS as a thing to tether your phone to, you know? Don't do that. Just go and use your regular phone GPS, and there won't be a lag there. Yeah, and that's another thing, too. I was in the countryside, so even my phone signal was pretty bad here. So I was like, what the fuck, you know? But, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do, you know? You gotta do what you gotta do. I don't know. Has my views on the West changed? Yeah, most definitely. But it does. I don't like being a nihilist about this shit, though, guys. Like, I like to consider myself an optimistic realist, you know? Like, I see the shit for what it is, but I have hope in my heart and faith in my heart that it could change. But there needs to be a catalyst for that change first. And you know, it's just like Malcolm Gladwell's, like, The Tipping Point, you know? You guys should check out that book. Even read the Cliff Notes if you're bored enough. Just fucking, it's some good shit. But just like he said there, man, like, there has to be some kind of event that stops this shit or, like, you know, gets people to, you know, start thinking clearly, you know? And America's not at that point yet. And it's so funny because it's like, whenever I think of the West, I just think of these countries that they want to do better. They want to be better. They want to make the best society ever for the thing. But then you got the threat of nuclear war hanging over us, where it's just like, yeah, it could all be over, excuse me, in an instance, right? Like, Oppenheimer's not allowed in Japan, right? They're not going to release it here. But, so I watched an Oppenheimer documentary the other day, and holy shit. Like, I knew the A-bomb was scary, but have you guys ever looked up a hydro bomb, or whatever it was called, hydro bomb? Like, dude, that is like it's not even 10 times or 100. That's 1,000 times heavier and bigger than an A-bomb. Like, an A-bomb took out a city, dude. Like, a hydro bomb or whatever, that could take out a fucking, like, a state, man. Like, that's scary ass shit, man. That is so fucking scary. And countries have that. They have that technology now. And, like, you don't know what countries do or don't have that. I mean, Like, the fucked up thing is, like, all these countries, they have the resources. Like, they have the materials to make that shit if they really wanted to. And you know these countries have, like, more of an elite, like, anarchist cookbook kind of thing here. You know they got the how-to make that shit. So, you know, and then there's just regular people like me, right, who's just, I want to live my life. I want to, enjoy my life, pass on my DNA so my ancestors don't get angry at me. And, teach my red-pilled hot dad ways to my future generations out there, Like, even if I couldn't have kids, I'd try to adopt, just because I feel like I have something to teach, something that could benefit society. And, I just feel like, the problem is that when you have so many distractions, it's easy to be an autopilot. And autopilot could be about bad political shit going on. It could be about not caring about what your kids are learning in school. It could be about just, changes or whatever. I mean, like, that's the thing that's, like, kind of scary. It's like, you gotta be on top of your shit. And a lot of the time, we're just trying to get through our day, and we're on autopilot, so we let a lot of shit slide, and it's not bueno, guys. It's the exact opposite of bueno. But anyway, we're getting to the end of the video here, and but look at the scenery, guys. Oh, I loved this ride so much, and once I get my ETC card and my ETC reader, we'll be able to do. I mean, like, my friend, like, he is so fucking cool, man. And like, my friend, for all you guys who don't know, my buddy's American. He's been here longer than me, and he speaks pretty decent, fluent Japanese. And anyway, he started a rice farm here in Chiba. I mean, like, I don't know if it's like a big, giant official company kind of rice farm, but he basically wanted to get a house that was really cheap and to rent as, like, kind of like a weekend house to get outside of Tokyo, right? And he found this place. I don't know how he found it. Probably through an agency or through word of mouth or something. But he found this place that was like an empty kind of like farmhouse. And from the outside, it looks really tiny. But from the inside, it's huge as fuck. And the catch was that if he wanted to move in there, he needed to continue the farm there. And so he could choose what he wanted to farm. And he chose to farm rice because you're in Japan, right? If you're in Japan, farm some fucking rice. And so, that's what he does. And he's got, like, he pays, like, only, like, a couple $100, if that, per month. And in Japan, they do have a system where you can rent to buy. So whatever rent you put towards that, if the owner's cool, they'll just knock that off the original price that they wanted to pay. And I think he's going to end up buying the place for, like, only 30 grand or something. And he's already spent years fixing up the place. So it's really cool. And I don't know. I love the fact that, because I always thought Chiba was just this ugly, flat place with, just like factories and malls and whatever. Like, I didn't think, whenever I think beautiful countryside, the first thought is Chiba, But now that this is my friend who also is a big pipe collector. So, he's gotten me into smoking pipe tobacco now. And I don't do it a lot, but it's a cool hobby. And I don't know. I feel like I've put off for years going to visit my buddy here. So it's nice that I can go and meet him finally and have a good time over there and whatnot. You know what I mean? But it's just nice. It's chill and it's nice. And look at all these beautiful houses. Like, this is like all of these places around here. It's all winding roads and shit. Like, and I love it too because this whole area is kind of like a valley. It's not a deep valley, but it's a valley, and it's just surrounded by vegetation. And it's weird because, like, half the houses are new, half the houses are old, but it's not like a suburban place, But anyway, yeah, guys, we're getting to the end of the video. Did you remember to smash like button and hit that subscribe button and subscribe bell? And did you guys know that we're going to do a live stream after this, even though I mentioned it every fucking video? But yeah, guys, tell me what you thought about. I bet you guys will. I bet this is a very opinionated topic, but yeah, let me know what you guys think because I don't live there, but you guys still do. Like, tell me what are some grievances you guys have living there. Do you think it's gotten better? Do you think it's gotten worse? I genuinely want to know. So let us know in the comment section below. Like, what country are you living in? and how it's gotten better, how it's gotten worse. And yeah, because it's like, you know, the prime example is PewDiePie, right? PewDiePie just wanted to fucking, he was in Europe his whole time, and he's just like, yeah, fuck that. He was tired of being a rich guy in Europe, and so he decided to move to another country in Asia where he doesn't even speak the language, just to get away from the bullshit he was putting up with. And that's just adorable. And yeah, that's another reason why Japan needs to branch out again. They need to go out, and people need to emulate Japan, because Japan's doing a lot of things right. And everybody wants peace and convenience, and you can get that when you're in Japan. So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Stay black. Talk to you later. Peace. Bum, 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 bum. Boo. Doo.